In 24 hours, this city will be burning. In 17 days, it will be gone. But you don't know that yet. You wake up thinking today is like any other day in the siege. You're wrong. Today is the last day Carthage will ever exist. The year is 146 BC. Your city has been under siege for 3 years. 3 years of starvation. 3 years of hope that somehow, you'll survive. After all, you're Carthaginian, you're Phoenician. Your ancestors sailed to the ends of the earth. Your city has stood for 700 years. Rome besieged you before in the Second Punic War, and you survived. This time is different. This time, Rome came for total annihilation. The Roman general Scipio Aemilianus sits outside your walls with 80,000 soldiers. He's the adopted grandson of the man who defeated Hannibal 56 years ago. He's young, he's brilliant, and he's under orders from the Roman Senate. Delenda est Carthago. Carthage must be destroyed. You don't know that when the walls fall tomorrow, Roman soldiers will spend 17 days burning everything. They'll kill men, enslave women and children, tear down every building stone by stone, plow the ground with assault so nothing will ever grow here again. Though that last part is probably myth. Salt was too expensive even for Rome's revenge. But the burning? That's real. And it starts tomorrow. You climb to your rooftop. The Mediterranean stretches blue and endless to the east. Your circular harbor, the Kothon, is empty. No trade ships, no war galleys. The Romans blockaded it years ago. Once 220 warships docked there. Once Carthage controlled the western Mediterranean. Once Hannibal nearly destroyed Rome itself. Now Rome is destroying you. The smell of smoke drifts from the Roman camps, cooking fires, siege engines being prepared. Your wife calls from below, breakfast, such as it is. A handful of grain, some withered vegetables. Your children look at you with hollow eyes. Today is their last day too. You just don't know it yet. You walk to the harbor. You shouldn't. It's dangerous, close to the walls where Roman artillery can reach. But you need to see the sea one more time. The Kothon was Rome's envy, a circular military harbor connected to a rectangular merchant harbor, engineering so sophisticated that Rome will copy it after they destroy you. The circular dock could hold 220 warships under cover, hidden from enemies. A central island commanded views of everything. Now it's empty, silent, haunting. You remember your grandfather's stories. Before the Punic Wars, Carthaginian ships controlled the Mediterranean. Your merchants traded with Britain for tin, West Africa for gold, Egypt for grain. Carthage was rich, richer than Rome. Your city invented purple dye worth more than gold. Your traders established colonies across North Africa, Spain, Sicily. Then came the wars with Rome, 3 wars spanning 118 years. The First Punic War, you lost Sicily. The Second Punic War, Hannibal nearly destroyed Rome, but ultimately failed. The Third Punic War, this war, will end with your complete destruction. This war started stupidly. Carthage broke a treaty by defending itself against Numidian attacks. Rome declared war. You offered surrender. Rome demanded you hand over all weapons and move your city 10 miles inland, away from the sea. Carthage without the sea? Impossible. That's when your people decided to fight to the death. For 3 years you fought, and now death is 24 hours away. A sound makes you turn. Roman catapults firing. You hear the whistle of stones arcing toward the walls. Impacts, screams. The daily bombardment continues. You notice something strange? Today the bombardment is lighter than usual. Why? You don't realize? Rome is preparing for the final assault. Scipio is massing his forces at weak points in the fortifications. Engineers are positioning siege towers. Infantry is being briefed. Tomorrow at dawn, 80,000 Romans will attack simultaneously from land and sea. Your walls will hold for 6 days of brutal street fighting. Roman soldiers will advance house by house. Carthaginians will fight from rooftops and alleyways. When it's over, 90% of the population will be dead or enslaved. But right now, the harbor's peaceful. You stand where Phoenician sailors once loaded ships bound for the edge of the known world. You breathe salt air. You watch gulls circle overhead. This is the last morning Carthage will know peace.
The marketplace is a ghost of what it was. 3 years ago, this square overflowed with goods from across the Mediterranean. Spanish silver, Egyptian grain, African ivory, Phoenician purple-dyed cloth. Now, a handful of desperate vendors sell whatever they can scavenge. rats, leather boiled soft enough to chew, weeds from between paving stones. Your ration today, a handful of moldy grain. That's what's left of Carthage's food stores. Once your granaries could feed the city for years. Once you exported grain to Greece and Italy. Now mothers are feeding their children boiled shoe leather and calling it soup. You see a woman you know, a merchant's widow. 3 years ago, she wore silk and gold. Now she's trading her last piece of jewelry for a dead rat. Her children watch with empty eyes that have seen too much. The siege has consumed everything. First, the livestock was eaten, then the horses, then the dogs and cats, then things people don't speak about. There are rumors, horrible rumors about what some families have done to survive. But still, Carthage fights. When the Romans demanded surrender, your people melted temple statues to make weapons. Women cut their hair to make bowstrings for the archers. The enslaved were freed and armed to defend the walls. Everyone fights because everyone knows Rome offers no mercy. You remember the Senate debates. Some argued for surrender. Rome will be merciful, they said. We'll lose our independence, but keep our lives. They were wrong. Rome's terms were clear. Abandon the coast, move inland, become subjects. That was unacceptable. Carthage is the sea. Without the harbor, without trade, you're nothing. So you chose war, and now you're starving. A child tugs your robe, maybe 6 years old. Do you have food? He asks. You have nothing to give him. In 24 hours, he'll be dead or enslaved. He doesn't know. He just knows he's hungry now. You move through the streets. Buildings show siege damage, but the triple fortifications still stand. The Bursa still dominates the skyline. Carthage has survived before. Surely you'll survive again. You won't. Hope is dying. You climb to the Bursa, the citadel hill where Carthage's oldest temples stand. The temple of Tanit, goddess of fertility, war, and the moon, is crowded with desperate worshippers. The smell hits you first. Incense, blood, unwashed bodies. Fear has a smell, and it fills this temple. Priests chant in Phoenician. Priests chant in the language of your ancestors who sailed from Tyre 700 years ago. The prayers ask for deliverance, a miracle. But Tanit is silent, so is Baal Hammon. If the gods could save Carthage, wouldn't they have done it already? You notice something that fills you with dread. The priests are preparing a topheth, a sacrificial ritual. Not animals, children. This is Carthage's darkest secret. In times of crisis, the city sacrifices its own children to appease the gods. Roman propaganda will later exaggerate this, but in desperation, yes, it happens. You look away. You can't watch. Your own children are at home. If the gods demand sacrifice, let them take someone else's. A priest notices you. The Romans have angered the gods by breaking sacred treaties, he says. But if we show proper devotion, Tanit will save us, as she saved our ancestors. You want to believe him. Carthage has survived before through divine favor. when Agathocles of Syracuse invaded 250 years ago, a plague destroyed his army. Surely the gods will intervene again. They won't. Tomorrow, Roman soldiers will storm these temples. They'll melt the gold, smash the statues, kill the priests who resist. Tanit's temple will burn. But right now, the faithful still hope, still pray, still believe salvation is possible. Mid-video CTA. You think about tomorrow, about your children. If you want to witness the fall of Rome itself, 800 years from now, when barbarians tear down an even greater empire, subscribe, because empires that burn cities eventually burn themselves. But for now, Tanit's temple stands, the prayers continue, and 24 hours remain before the end.
Evening, and you're assigned to wall duty. Every able-bodied person takes shifts, even scribes and merchants like you. The professional soldiers are dead or too exhausted to man all the defenses alone. The Carthaginian walls are magnificent. Triple fortifications, an outer wall 30 feet high, a second wall, then an inner wall 45 feet high, and thick enough to stable 300 elephants and 4,000 horses inside. Towers every 200 feet. It's the most sophisticated defensive system in the ancient world. Rome has tried to breach them for 3 years, failed every time, until tomorrow. You stand on the battlements beside a Numidian mercenary. He's been fighting for Carthage because Rome pays him less. He's seen the Roman preparations. They're massing at the harbor gate, he says quietly. All of them, every legion, tomorrow. Your stomach tightens. A full assault, not probing attacks, not bombardment, everything at once. Below, the Roman camps stretch for miles. Thousands of campfires, 80,000 men. You hear them singing, shouting, preparing. They know tomorrow is the day. Scipio's command tent is visible on the hill opposite yours. The Roman general who will end your civilization is maybe 30 years old. Brilliant, ruthless, handsome, they say. After Carthage falls, he'll weep at the destruction. This is a glorious victory, he'll tell his officers, but someday someone will do this to Rome. He's right, but that's 300 years away. Right now he's preparing to destroy you. You watch the sunset paint the Mediterranean gold and crimson, blood-red sky. Omen? The Numidian mercenary speaks again. I have a ship, hidden, small. It can take maybe 20 people. If you have gold, you could buy passage, escape before... No, you interrupt. Carthage is my home. If it falls, I fall with it. He shrugs. Your choice, but Rome doesn't leave survivors. You know he's right. The Romans are planning genocide, not conquest, annihilation. This isn't about territory or tribute. This is about revenge. Hannibal humiliated Rome. For 15 years during the Second Punic War, he marched through Italy, defeating Roman armies, threatening Rome itself. Rome never forgot, never forgave. Now they have their revenge, and they'll make it total. Night falls. The Roman camps glow like a vast city of fire. Somewhere orders are being given. Siege towers positioned, ladders distributed, soldiers told where to attack. Tomorrow at dawn it begins. 6 days of street-by-street fighting, then the burning, then silence, then salt plowed into the ruins. But tonight, Carthage still stands, the walls still hold, and you still hope. You return home after wall duty. Your family waits, wife, 2 children, your elderly mother. They've prepared dinner, such as it is. Some grain cooked into porridge. No meat, no fruit, no wine, just grain and water. But they've arranged it carefully, like it's a feast, trying to maintain normalcy in the face of doom. Your daughter, 8 years old, asks the question that breaks your heart. Father, will the Romans come tomorrow? You want to lie. Say no. Say everything will be fine. Say the walls will hold and relief is coming and Carthage will survive. Instead, you say, I don't know. Your wife knows the truth. You see it in her eyes. She's heard the rumors about what Romans do to conquered cities, the rapes, the enslavements, the killings. She's made a decision. You can see it. If the walls fall and Romans enter the city, she won't let herself or the children be taken alive. There's a knife hidden in her robe. You pretend not to notice. Your mother tells stories. Old stories about Carthage's founding, how Princess Dido fled Tyre after her brother murdered her husband, how she tricked the local king, asked for as much land as an ox hide could encompass, then cut the hide into thin strips and enclosed an entire hill. The Bursa, the citadel. We've always been clever, your mother says. We'll find a way. But there's no cleverness that defeats 80,000 Roman soldiers. No trick that breaches a siege after 3 years. No escape. Your son asked to hear about Hannibal. He's 10. Too young to remember peace, but old enough to know the legends. How Hannibal crossed the Alps with elephants. How he destroyed Roman armies at Cannae, Trebia, Trasimene. How he nearly took Rome itself. Why didn't he, your son asks. Why didn't Hannibal destroy Rome when he could? It's the question historians will debate for 2,000 years. Maybe he lacked siege equipment. Maybe Carthage didn't send reinforcements. Maybe he thought Rome would surrender. He was wrong. Rome doesn't surrender. Rome endures. And now Rome will make sure Carthage never threatens them again. You tell the stories your son wants to hear. Make Hannibal a hero. Make Carthage eternal. Make tomorrow something other than the end. But midnight approaches. The house grows quiet. The children sleep. Your wife lies awake, knife hidden nearby. Your mother prays softly. Outside you hear sounds. Roman siege equipment being moved into position. Commanders shouting final orders. The shuffle of 80,000 men preparing for dawn assault. This is the last night. The last time your family is together. The last time Carthage sleeps in peace. Tomorrow the walls fall. The burning begins. And your civilization ends.
Dawn breaks. The last dawn Carthage will ever see. You hear it before you see it. A roar. 80,000 Roman voices shouting at once. War cries. Battle horns. The ground trembling under marching feet. The final assault has begun. Romans attack from everywhere simultaneously. Siege towers roll toward walls. Ladders rise. Ships assault the harbor. The carefully planned, overwhelming force that Scipio prepared for 3 years. The walls hold. For hours, your people fight with the courage of the doomed. Every man, every woman, even children throw stones from rooftops. But courage isn't enough. Around noon, Romans breach the harbor defenses. They pour into the city. The street fighting begins. For 6 days, Carthaginians will contest every house, every alley, every roof. Romans will advance meter by meter through 700 years of civilization. The fighting will be so brutal that even Roman historians will call it horrifying. On the 6th day, survivors will retreat to the temple of Eshmun on the Byrsa. Hasdrubal, your commander, will surrender and beg Scipio for mercy. His wife will curse him as a coward, throw their children into the flames, and leap after them. Then comes the burning. For 17 days, Romans will systematically destroy everything, every building, every temple, every home, even the harbor. They'll break the quays so ships can never dock again. 50,000 Carthaginians will die. Another 50,000 will be sold as slaves. Your wife and children, their fate is one of those numbers. The city that took 700 years to build will be erased in weeks. Scipio Aemilianus will stand in the ruins and weep. He'll quote Homer, "The day will come when sacred Troy will perish, and Priam, and the people of Priam." He knows someday Rome will fall too. He's right. But that's 8 centuries away. For now, Carthage is gone. The ground is plowed with salt, or so legend says. More likely, Romans just wanted nothing left standing. A message. This is what happens to enemies of Rome. For 2,000 years, Carthage will be ruins, forgotten. A cautionary tale. The city that challenged Rome and paid the ultimate price. Then in 1817, archaeologists will start excavating. They'll find the harbors, the walls, the temples, the homes where families like yours spent their last night together. Today, you can visit Carthage. It's a suburb of Tunis, Tunisia. The Kothon is still there, 2 circular depressions where the famous harbors once were. The Byrsa has a museum. The fortifications are partially restored. Tourists walk where you walked 2,168 years ago. They take photos where your children played. They marvel at the engineering. They read about Hannibal and the Punic Wars. But they don't hear the screams. They don't smell the smoke. They don't know what it felt like to watch your world burn. You lived in Carthage on its last day. You thought you might survive. You hoped the walls would hold. You believed the gods would intervene. You were wrong, and in 24 hours, Carthage, your home, your history, your civilization, will be gone forever. In our next journey, we'll stand in another city Rome destroyed, Baghdad, 1258 AD. But this time, the destroyers aren't Romans, they're Mongols, and what they'll do will make Carthage look merciful.